How many times has a single criticism ruined your day? How often have others' opinions mattered more than your own? If this sounds familiar, then you need to hear what's coming next. In this video, you'll discover how to build a mindset that's immune to criticism and external opinions. This isn't about ignoring everything or pretending you don't care. It's something much deeper, a real path to freeing yourself from the need for external validation. If you've ever felt trapped by others' judgment, know that there is a way out. And it starts now. Imagine yourself standing on a grand stage, illuminated by spotlights, facing an invisible audience. You can feel their gaze, even without seeing them. Your mind starts questioning, what are they thinking about me? Your heart races, your hands get sweaty, and an inner voice insists, what if I fail? What if they laugh at me? This feeling of being judged isn't just a fleeting illusion. It follows us in everyday life, shaping our choices, controlling our emotions, and even defining our dreams. From an early age, we're trained to seek approval, to measure our worth through the eyes and words of others. But what if this need for external validation is just a reflection of something much deeper within us? Jung teaches us that we project onto the outside world what we have yet to understand within ourselves. The criticism that wounds us actually reveals something about our own insecurities. The praise we seek is often just an echo of what we haven't yet recognized in ourselves. But how can we break free from this invisible game? The Hermetic laws, taught in the Kybalion, offer a powerful answer. They aren't just ancient philosophical principles, but practical tools to reshape our perception and strengthen our minds. When we understand that reality is shaped by the mind, that everything vibrates at different frequencies, and that we can transmute any negative energy, we gain an immense power. The power to become unshakable. Today, we're going to explore how to apply these teachings in daily life to build a mindset that is immune to criticism and judgment. We'll dive into why we care so much about others' opinions, how this affects us, and most importantly, how to reverse this process to live with freedom and authenticity. So here's the question. If you could free yourself completely from the weight of others' opinions, who would you truly be? Since the dawn of humanity, social acceptance has been a matter of survival. Our ancestors lived in tribes where being excluded meant facing nature alone, without protection, without food, with no chance of survival. This fear of rejection became imprinted in the collective unconscious, passing through generations and shaping our behavior to this day. Even in today's modern world, where survival no longer depends on others' approval, our minds still carry this primitive instinct. We feel anxious when criticized, worry about how we're perceived, and seek validation as if our lives depended on it. But is this fear truly ours? Or is it just a psychological inheritance we've never questioned? Jung teaches us that much of what we feel doesn't come from our individual consciousness, but from the collective unconscious, a field of shared memories and behavioral patterns across all of humanity. This means that insecurity in the face of others' opinions isn't just a personal issue, but a reflection of something much bigger, something deeply rooted in the human psyche. This is where the first hermetic key to breaking this cycle comes in, the principle of mentalism. The Kybalion teaches us that the all is mind, meaning that everything we perceive is a result of how our mind interprets reality. Others' opinions only have power over us because we give them power. Criticism only affects us because, on some level, we believe it ourselves. Now think about this. What if you could reprogram your mind so that these opinions lost all their impact? What would happen if you stopped seeing judgments as truths and started seeing them merely as reflections of other people's perceptions? This is the first step toward inner freedom. But to put this into practice, we need to understand how to strengthen our energy so that criticism becomes irrelevant. If everything in the universe is energy, then every thought, word, and judgment from others carries a vibration. Some of these vibrations are light and uplifting, like love and gratitude. Others are dense and heavy, like destructive criticism and envy. The question is, why do some people absorb these energies while others seem immune to them? The answer lies in the principle of vibration, one of the pillars of Hermeticism. The Kybalion teaches us that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This means we are constantly emitting and receiving frequencies. When we obsess over others' opinions, our vibration aligns with fear and insecurity, making us more susceptible to absorbing criticism as if it were absolute truth. The key to breaking free from this is to raise your frequency. The higher your vibration, the less external energies will affect you. It's like trying to mix oil and water. If you vibrate in self-confidence and balance, criticism and judgment simply have no space to take hold. A simple technique to keep your vibration high is rhythmic breathing. Whenever you feel a negative opinion starting to shake your emotional state, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath, counting to 4. Hold it for 4 seconds, then exhale slowly. Repeat this cycle a few times. This creates a state of neutrality and prevents your energy from sinking with anything that weakens you. Another powerful strategy comes straight from Hermeticism. Visualizing a protective auric field. Imagine a golden sphere of light surrounding you, pulsing with calm, unshakable energy. Whenever someone tries to project criticism or judgment onto you, visualize that external energy hitting this field and dissolving before it reaches your mind or emotions. But true protection goes beyond techniques. It comes from a deep internal shift. When you recognize that no one has power over your vibration unless you allow it, your energy becomes untouchable. Now think about this. How many times have you let empty words disturb your peace? And what if, starting today, you chose not to absorb anything that doesn't resonate with your truth? Other people's words only hurt us because, on some level, they resonate with something inside us. If someone told you the sky is green, you'd laugh and move on. But if someone points out something you secretly fear might be true, it can cut like an invisible blade. Carl Jung described this phenomenon through the concept of the shadow, the hidden part of our psyche where we store insecurities, traumas, and aspects of ourselves we don't want to face. When someone criticizes us, that criticism might be touching precisely on these sensitive areas. But instead of running from it or reacting with anger, we can use it as a gateway to self-awareness. The principle of polarity, one of the Hermetic laws, teaches that everything is dual, everything has 2 poles. This means that every negative experience carries within it the seed of positive learning. In other words, criticism can be transformed into growth if we know how to use it. A powerful way to do this is through what we call the Hermetic mirror. Whenever a criticism affects you, ask yourself, is this really true, or am I just reacting emotionally? If it is true, what can I learn from it? How can I use this insight to grow? If it's not true, why does it bother me? Is there an insecurity within me that needs to be addressed? This process strips criticism of its power and puts you back in control. Instead of being wounded by others' words, you start using them as tools for self-discovery. With every judgment you receive, you become stronger, more aware, and more immune to external negativity. Now think about this. What if, instead of fearing criticism, you started seeing it as a map for your own evolution? How would your life change if every judgment was just a reflection of something you could master? If this content has already helped you see criticism in a different light, then you're already one step ahead of many people who still struggle with others' opinions. Now think about this. How many people still feel trapped by judgment without realizing they can break free? You can be part of this transformation. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so YouTube recognizes this content as valuable and shares it with those who need it most. Now let's move forward, because what comes next can elevate your mindset even further. Other people's opinions are like the wind. Sometimes they blow strong, sometimes they fade, sometimes they change direction. If you base your self-esteem on them, you'll always be at the mercy of external storms, without a solid center to rely on. But here's the secret. People don't see the world as it is. They see it as they are. This means that much of the criticism we receive isn't really about us. It's about the insecurities, frustrations, and projections of the person delivering it. The problem isn't being criticized. The problem is giving too much importance to opinions that should never have weight in your life. The principle of rhythm, one of the Hermetic laws, teaches that everything flows in and out. Opinions change, social trends shift, and what seems important today might be irrelevant tomorrow. If criticism comes and goes like waves in the ocean, why build your identity on something so unstable? True security comes from within. Building a resilient mindset means anchoring your self-esteem in something unshakable: your values, your mission, and your inner truth. A practical way to do this is by creating a personal manifesto. a short set of guiding principles for your life. Ask yourself, what values define who I am? What do I want to build in my life regardless of others' opinions? What truth do I hold that no one can take from me? Write these answers down and read them whenever you feel influenced by external judgment. This reminds you that your essence doesn't depend on validation from others. Another powerful tool is what we call the anchor of self-confidence. Whenever a criticism affects you, before reacting, pause and ask yourself, does this change who I am? Does this affect my truth? Does this stop me from being who I was born to be? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And in that moment, you realize you can simply move on without carrying the weight of something that doesn't belong to you. Now imagine this. What would your life look like if your confidence came entirely from within? If no external words could shake your peace? Knowing that others' opinions don't define you is a big step. But how do you turn this knowledge into daily practice? How do you ensure that when faced with unexpected criticism or unfair judgment, you remain steady and unshaken? The principle of cause and effect teaches us that every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. This means you can take control of how you react to others' opinions. If someone criticizes you and it hurts, ask yourself, is this pain coming from what was said or from the importance I'm giving to it? Almost always the answer will be the second option. You can't control what others say, but you can control how you interpret and respond to it. One effective technique to put this into practice is neutral observation. When you hear something negative, instead of reacting immediately, try to mentally step back and observe the situation as a spectator. Ask yourself, if this criticism were said to someone else, would it have the same impact? Does this opinion say more about me or about the person who expressed it? What happens if I simply choose not to absorb this energy? Another hermetic principle that can transform your relationship with external validation is the principle of gender, which teaches that the masculine and feminine exist in all things. This goes beyond biology. In the emotional realm, masculine energy represents firmness and boundaries, while feminine energy represents receptivity and understanding. When you feel affected by others' opinions, ask yourself, do I need to activate my masculine energy to set internal boundaries, or my feminine energy to embrace my own emotions? If criticism weakens you, maybe it's time to strengthen yourself and remember who you are. If criticism triggers anger, maybe it's time to practice detachment and not give it more power than it deserves. Finding this internal balance is what creates true emotional stability. Now think about this. What if, instead of automatically reacting to external opinions, you consciously chose what's worth absorbing and what should be discarded? How would that change your inner peace? True freedom begins when you realize that no one can define who you are except you. Throughout life, we are taught to seek approval, to shape our identity based on how others see us. But this is an illusion. The external world is unpredictable, opinions change, and validation will never be enough if you don't find security within yourself. The Hermetic laws teach us that reality is mental, that everything vibrates, and that we can transform any experience. This means you are not doomed to be a prisoner of others' judgments. You have a choice. A choice to see criticism as a reflection of the other person, not as a truth about yourself. A choice to not absorb energies that don't belong to you. A choice to be guided by your own truth, not by the fear of rejection. The world belongs to those who master their own minds, to those who understand that peace is not found in others' approval, but in the inner certainty of being on the right path. So now the question is, are you ready to stop being a hostage to others' opinions and finally take control of your life? The choice is yours. If this content made sense to you, it's because it came at the right time. But remember, knowing isn't enough. You have to apply it. So before you go, tell me in the comments, which insight from this video resonated with you the most? Your answer might inspire someone going through the same journey. And if you want to keep strengthening your mind and spirit, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Now I invite you to take the next step. In the video linked in the card and description, you'll dive even deeper into the power of the mind and the Hermetic laws. Click now and keep evolving.